Hi, everybody. Welcome into the high noon edition of Pugs and Company. I am Pugs Moran, your humble host. I do this each and every day at noon. And the whole purpose of this is so that we can all kind of sit around and talk about all the things that are trending, the hot topics, current events, whatever it is that people are talking about. I try and get it all out there here in the next hour or so, hour, 2 hours, whatever it is we're looking at. Typically, it's about 2 hours. We do a second stream every night at 9 o'clock. That's more like an hour. Well, there you go. You hear that? That's let me know that we're on the air. Very good. We call that the Pillow Talk stream. And on occasion, I am joined by other people, most notably James Parker, in which situation it is called the Pugs and Parker Pillow Talk show. What up, Lyle? Lyle, I saw a text from you, Lyle. I got over the weekend, and it was cute. I'm sorry I didn't respond. I don't know why I didn't respond. I should have responded, but I didn't see it until like hours after you sent it, and I don't know. Football? I don't know. I was involved in something. I have no idea. But thank you, and text me anytime you want. Hi, Steve. Steve is joining us now in the chat room as well. Give a couple of seconds for the room to fill up with all the regulars, the notables, and the ne'er-do-wells. There's a few ne'er-do-wells. I won't call anybody out by name. I don't think that's warranted. All right. Let's get started on what today is. Today is January the 18th. It is the 18th day of the year. 347 days remain until the end of the year. Happy, what is it? It's Tuesday, right? Yeah, happy Tuesday. We like to go through some. No, you know what? You know how we're going to start? We're going to start with a moment of joy. Now, my guy Radio Dallas on Twitter moments ago sent me a wonderful moment of joy, but I can't use it. I mean, I can use it. I will use it. I will be using it. But if my guy Radio Dallas is out there listening, thank you for that. I appreciate it. And should any of you, hi Stacy, hi April, hi Leslie, should any of you guys stumble across good moments of joy, just hit me up on Twitter. Not so much Facebook. I know a lot of you are on Facebook. A lot of you are on Facebook, and a lot of you aren't on Twitter. Come over to Twitter. Hang out with me on Twitter. There's too much. I don't know. Facebook seems like the mean part of town. That just is how I know. Pugs, what are you talking about? Twitter is a cesshole in its own right. It is, but I feel like I have more control over the cess on Twitter than I do on Facebook. The Facebook cess is like neck deep, whereas the Twitter cess is more knee deep. So, see, we've got another one of these. They show up every time? These like, I don't know what that is. It's like a Cyrillic alphabet guy. I have no. They show up every time. I don't care. Whatever. Hi, Leslie too. There's Leslie. We are number one with Leslie's on this stream. It is my goal to one day get a male Leslie. That would be cool. Then I could say we're number one with Leslie's across all genders. All right, so let's do a moment of joy first, because I found this moment of joy and I really liked it. So here, let me pull it up for you. This may not mean much to you people in Texas, although every so often you do have this experience. But this is a little kid. He's up there in Canada. He's like 10 years old. I just love him. I just love this kid. He's up there in Canada, and he's shoveling snow, shoveling lots of snow, shoveling lots of heavy Canadian snow. And he's not that into it. Got to be honest with you. He's not that in. He's shoveling his driveway. He's also shoveling the walkway of some of his neighbors. And as he points out, he's also shoveling some people who he doesn't even know. And he is done. He is beat. His parents or somebody is forcing him to be a good citizen. And he's not all about it, is what I'm going to say. Is this it? Yeah. Okay. So here you go. This is going to be today's moment of joy. This little dude in in here. Also, look at the caption. Carter Trezzolo, exhausted. Carter's having a rough day. Here he is. Here's our boy.
If you didn't have a machine to help you move.
We'll start from here.
you didn't have a machine to help you move the snow, you probably found it a bit
tiring.
A snow day turned into a work day for Carter Trizzolo.
I really wish I was in school right now.
Trizzolo was clearing snow around not just his house, but also doing it
for my neighbors, friends, probably people I even don't know.
He's so
you didn't
tired.
Have a machine to help you move the snow.
All right, that's Carter. It's probably for people he doesn't even know. I mean, he's just out there. Some adult made poor little Carter shovel everybody's snow, and he ain't having it. You know, I hope that put you in a good mood. I hope that made you feel, you know, a moment of joy. There you are. All right, so let's go through some of the things that make today so cool. What? Or not? No, not cool. Not cool. See, that's misleading. Notable. Here are some of the things that make today notable. On this day in way back when, in 1990, Washington, D.C. Mayor Marion Barry is arrested for drug possession in an FBI sting. You remember when this happened? The mayor of Washington, D.C., Marion Barry. And then there was video. We all saw the video of him smoking crack. And it was just, and then he got This is on us. This is on us, people. He got reelected. He was back, or he became a congressman. I don't know what it is. I don't think Marion Barry is still with us. I think he passed away. But he was smoking crack. And, you know, fun fact, he's not the only mayor caught smoking crack. Don't you remember when Rob Ford in Toronto, about 15 years later, was seen doing the same thing? Man, it's we the people. We elect these clowns. Why? Because they get up at a pancake breakfast and say all the things that trigger us. And then we're like, yeah, I hate those people too. I'm voting for this guy. And then they go off in a hotel and they smoke crack with prostitutes. And, you know, we get what we deserve, I suppose. Marion Barry on this day in 1990. On this day in 1993, Martin Luther King Day is officially observed for the first time in all 50 U.S. states. I heard something troubling last night that I wasn't aware of. They were talking about, you know, it was Martin Luther King Day yesterday. That's why all the kids, that's why, well, I guess that's not why Carter in Toronto was. Do they celebrate Martin Luther King Day in Canada? I don't know. I mean, I know it's a federal holiday here, but maybe. Yesterday was the first time Martin Luther King Day was celebrated in all 50 states. And I heard that Georgia, oh, Georgia, I'm leaving home midnight. Georgia celebrates Martin Luther King Day as a split holiday. It's Martin Luther King Day and Robert E. Lee Day. It's just like, it's so juvenile. It's just so juvenile. It's just, you can't have a day unless we give. Why? Never mind. I'm not going to go into it. Not going to go into divisive stuff, but that's ridiculous. Give Robert E. Lee the next day if you must. But honestly, to just share a day, stop it. Okay. Georgia. Well done. In 1904, it's got some birthdays here. And I typically don't go this far back, but I was reading an article this morning about what this guy did on this day every year. Born on this day in 1904, Carrie Grant, English-American actor. A lot of people don't know he was English because, you know, he didn't have the accent. Carrie Grant died in 1986, it says here. He's one of my favorite all-time. As far as the old-timey actors go, I like me some Jimmy Stewart. I like me some Carrie Grant. And I like me some Spencer Tracy. Those are like, if those guys are in like an old-timey movie, I'll sit and check it out. And I'm not a big John Wayne guy, not a big Humphrey Bogart guy. I like Cary Grant. I like Cary Grant because that dude was about as smooth as a guy could get. He always looked like he was just dressed to the hilt. He was good looking. He was witty. He was fun. You know who he reminds me of? You know, it was kind of like the modern Cary Grant in a lot of ways. George Clooney. George Clooney kind of has that Cary Grant vibe. Not entirely, not as cool as Cary Grant. Because what Cary Grant used to like to do on his birthday every year, and that's why I'm mentioning it, is that he would go back to his hometown of Bristol, England, and he would take a whole bunch of psychedelics and then just watch like local theater. He would just show up at local theaters tripping balls, because that was something that Cary Grant was into that we didn't really know about until much later, like 10 years ago when people started openly talking about it. But yeah, man, as far back as like the 1950s and 60s, Cary Grant was a big fan of psychedelics, big fan of acid, big fan of tripping. He said that it was therapeutic for him, that it helped him with like a whole bunch of like trauma that he had. Although honestly, if you've ever seen Cary Grant, what kind of trauma does that guy have? That guy, life. I mean, sure, maybe you grew up poor, but you got out of being poor because you look like Cary Grant, because you're witty, because you're fast, because you're good looking, because you got charm, you got game for days. I don't know what your trauma is. Maybe you should walk a mile in my shoes, or walk a mile in the shoes of the rest of my fine folks here in the chat room. Cary Grant tripping balls, watching local theater in Bristol on your birthday. Also born on this day in 1955, Kevin Costner. Happy birthday, Kevin Costner. Happy birthday, John Dutton, the patriarch of the Dutton family from the show Yellowstone. I already miss Yellowstone. We just went through a week without Yellowstone. The season ended. I need more Yellowstone. And I'm sorry, I am enjoying the spin-off series, 1883. But it ain't the same. It's two totally different kinds of shows. Enjoy them for totally different reasons. Not sure that I enjoy 1883 as much as I enjoy the story of the modern Dutton family. The Dutton family, Yellowstone. Well, most people, it's a very big show, so you probably know. But it's about this family who owns and operates the largest cattle ranch in the United States, and it's about all the palace intrigue. And it's kind of like a rural version of Succession, if you're familiar with Succession. The kids are all vying for who's going to be in charge next, and they're all, there's some duplicitous kids. There's some, very sort of hippy dippy kids. And there's a mean kid. It's same thing as like Succession. But 1883, which is a prequel to Yellowstone, takes place, oddly enough, starting in the year 1883, and it tells the story of how the Dutton Ranch that we all know today from Yellowstone came to be, with the pioneers and all that stuff. It's got Sam Elliott, it's got Tim McGraw. It's got stuff worthwhile. I haven't been completely grabbed by 1883 yet, but I'm watching. So happy birthday, Kevin Costner, born on this day in 1955. Born on this day in 1969, Bautista, the wrestler turned actor. He's in Guardians of the Galaxy. Who does he play in Guardians of the Galaxy? I don't know. He's good though. I like Bautista. I like him. I'm not a wrestling guy, so I don't know about what he was like in wrestling, but I like him as an actor. He's a pretty cool actor. David Bautista, born on this day in 1969. Born on this day in 1980, and we'll be talking about this guy's most famous contribution to popular culture, Jason Segal. Jason Segal, or is it Jason Segal? Or I don't know. It's Segel. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce his last name. How I Met Your Mother. Yeah, he was in that show. He was in the show How I Met Your Mother. Famously, before that, he was one of the people in the show Freaks and Geeks, which was a show that aired for 10 episodes 1 year. I loved it. It was such an amazing show. And then NBC went, nobody's watching, it's gone. And then here we are 20 years later, and it's routinely cited as the one show in American history that was canceled way too soon, because had that show been given time, that show would have been massive. That show would have been a cornerstone of late 20th century, early 21st century television. I mean, the stars the people that busted out, the people who were nobodies when that show started, that have gone on to be some of the most powerful and influential people in Hollywood. It's crazy. Well, for Judd Apatow, right? It was a Judd Apatow TV show. Did he ever do anything after that show got canceled? Yeah, I think so. He's one of the most prolific writers and producers and directors in television, not just television. He does some television, but films. The cast itself had James Franco and Seth Rogen and Bussy Phillips and Jason Segal, and I know I'm missing some other people. Linda Cardellini. I mean, just a great cast. Great show, great cast. Freaks and Geeks. It's available out there somewhere. You can watch it if you've never seen it. But happy birthday, Jason Segal. Born on this day in 1980. Dead on this day. This is worth mentioning because I like the Eagles. I like the actual bird, the eagle, and I like the band, the Eagle. I think the Eagles, who are, I believe we went through this the other day. I think they've sold more albums in America than any other band in history, which is pretty good. And probably contributes to why a lot of people roll their eyes. Bands get super popular, they get overplayed, they become current generations associate them with past generations. So, the malignment begins. The Eagles. The Eagles are fine. They're not my generation, but, I grew up listening to it. I grew up hearing it. I grew up, so it's pretty much an omnipresent band. On this day, in 2016, the Eagles lost one of their highest flyers. Glenn Frey died today in 2016. Glenn Frey. I want to say that the Eagles have replaced him with his son. I think his son is now playing and touring with the Eagles. They also added Vince Gill. That's a pretty good add-on for the Eagles. And they're out on tour right now. On this day in 2016, and I recognize this day because it was the day that Glenn Frey died. And I remember I was looking out my back window where I used to live on this wetland preserve. And I spotted a brand new eagle on that day. I had bald eagles in my backyard. And we'd had Jackson. Jackson was the first one that I spotted, and I named Jackson. And then on the day that Glenn Frey died, I saw an eagle, and I was like, well, his name is Glenn. That's got to be Glenn. So that's when we have Jackson and Glenn. On this day in 2016, I spotted and identified the second bald eagle in my backyard, Glenn. Pugs, how can you tell the difference between the eagles? Because when you look at them every day, and I'm not talking about the band, the Eagles, I'm talking about actual bald eagles, there was a difference. You could tell the difference. Like Jackson, the first eagle that I spotted, he was dirty. Like his neck was all dirty. And then, Glenn was more white. Glenn was more beautiful. Glenn was more clean. Glenn was maybe younger. Maybe that's why. But yeah, and if you saw them together, like hopping around, trying to eat fish or whatever on the banks there, you could totally tell which one was Jackson and which one was Glenn. Jackson was bigger than Glenn. That's another. Jackson was bigger and dirtier than Glenn. Although Glenn is the one that I saw get his ass kicked by a blue heron. The blue heron was eating fish, and Glenn landed too close to this giant blue heron, and the blue heron just grabbed Glenn by the neck and flipped him, and then Glenn rolled and flew off. It was not a good moment for America's symbol of freedom and power, and not a good moment. Let's see, what is this day? We like to do the National Day of to celebrate, just so we know what we're supposed to be thinking about on this day. January 18th is National Michigan Day. Michigan's got a day. I don't know if every state's got a day, but it seems like every now and again we do recognize a state. It's National Michigan Day. I like Michigan. I like parts of Michigan. I like Western Michigan. I like Western Michigan that runs from the border with Indiana up to about okay. So I'll give it all the way. I'll give it all the way to the Upper Peninsula border. There you go. Western Michigan is beautiful. Then you get into militia country when you start venturing into the woods there in Michigan. You start getting into some. But as far as where all the summer homes are located, I like that Michigan. The Michigan of American Pie. You ever seen the American Pie movies? Okay, so that was based. And it was called Grand Falls, but it was actually supposed to be the writer and the creator of it, the guy who wrote it, was writing about Grand Rapids. So they called it Grand Falls in the movie, but it was supposed to be Grand Rapids. And then remember they went to the Stifler's Beach House and all that. That was actually Grand Haven. That's a really nice place right there in Western Michigan on Lake Michigan. It's very nice. So happy Michigan Day. Part of you anyway. There's a whole bunch of scuzz. Ann Arbor's pretty great too. Now that I think about it, Ann Arbor is pretty good. That's That's almost like an oasis in the middle of like militia country, crazy people country. It's and the rest is all like Kid Rock country, and it's I don't want to deal with Detroit. Detroit is just a whole nother entity. But happy Michigan Day. It's also National Peking Duck Day. Don't know what that is. Don't care. Moving on. It's National Thesaurus Day. Not a dinosaur. I learned that when I was like 12 years old. I thought a thesaurus was a dinosaur, and then I learned it's not. A thesaurus is, it's like a reference book. Words that mean the same, that kind of thing. Writers all use thesauruses. I need to use a thesaurus more because I fancy myself a writer. And it's also January 18th is National Winnie the Pooh Day. Say something provocative here. I don't like Winnie the Pooh. I find Winnie the Pooh to be gutless. I think Winnie the Pooh and Mickey Mouse are two of the most gutless cartoon characters that I've ever seen. I just don't. You know who's not gutless? Donald Duck. Donald Duck ain't gutless. You know who's not gutless? Tigger. Tigger the tiger. That dude takes risks. Happy National Winnie the Pooh Day. Winnie the Pooh is gutless. All right, let's talk about what's happening today, shall we? This is the part of the show where we like to get into all the things that are trending. We like to get you all... Oh, no. Wait a second. I'm sorry. I didn't mention this. Every day we like to talk about plane crashes because I have a belief that there has been a plane crash somewhere, a commercial airline disaster somewhere in the world between 1945 and 2000. And I stop it at 2000 because I like to believe that around the year 2000, the airline industry worked all the bugs out. And then they got this flying people from one place to another pretty much under control. They figured it out around 2000. And also 2000 is when we start having, more terror incidents. And this is really just about, fan belts breaking at 30,000 feet, engines exploding, that kind of stuff. Stuff where it's like, all right, we think we got this flying thing down. Oh no, something's wrong. Planes crash. In 1960, Capital Airlines Flight 20 crashes into a farm in Charles City County, Virginia, killing all 50 on board. It's the third fatal Capital Airlines crash in as many years. And that, my friends, might be why we don't have Capital Airlines anymore, thinking they were crashing a lot. In 1969, United Airlines Flight 266 crashes into Santa Monica Bay, killing all 32 passengers and 6 crew members on board. And on this day in 1988, China Southwest Airlines Flight, not Southwest Airlines, not the pride of Dallas-Fort Worth, not the only way that a civilized man can get between, say, Chicago and Dallas in less than 90 minutes. Not that Southwest Airlines. That Southwest Airlines has never had a crash. This is China Southwest Airlines. China Southwest Airlines Flight 4146 crashes near, okay, I'm going to try it, Chongqing Jingbai. Chongqing Jingbai International Airport, killing all 98 passengers and 10 crew members on board. So there you go. Today is not a good day to fly. Working on that book, working on that reference book, where every day of the year is going to tell you what planes have crashed on that day and which is the safest day to fly. We've had a couple of days recently. January 3rd, no plane crashes. January 13th, no plane crashes. If on January 23rd there are no plane crashes, then I'm going to start to sense a pattern here. And I don't know how I'm going to process that information. I don't know how I'm going to. All right, trending number one. This is something I've been talking about. I mentioned it a couple of times over the last few weeks. Asteroid. Asteroid is trending today. Why? Because, well, today we got an asteroid incoming. Checking the skies. Saying about 2 o'clock our time is when this asteroid is either going to end all life on Earth or just barely miss us. Seems to me like people should be a little bit more concerned, but, we're not. We're not concerned. We got other things that we're talking about, although asteroid is trending at number one. So here's the story on asteroid, just so that you all know. Asteroid, here's what they say. See, what are they going to say, right? This is, what are they going to say? When the asteroid's coming, we're all going to die. At least give us like an hour heads up. Like if there's breaking news at like 1 o'clock in about 35 minutes, it says, all right. It turns out it's not going to just miss us. It's actually going to crash into us. It's going to be a planet-killing event, and nice knowing you folks. Here's the headline as of this moment. Asteroid to zoom by Earth in close, safe encounter. I'm sorry. I just don't believe that they're going to tell us. If they knew it was coming, I just don't believe that they're going to tell us. Why would they? Why would they tell us? Wouldn't it be better wouldn't it be better if you had to be murdered? Would you rather be murdered by a Bond victim who dangles you over a pool of sharks and then gives you some long speech? No, that's not how I want to go. I want to go mafia style. I want to go where someone just walks up behind me and pop, just puts one in me. And that's kind of what I think they'd do if an asteroid was actually coming towards us. Don't even say anything much, just whatever, it's going to happen. Let's see. Although there have been a lot of these rich guys launching things lately, so I don't know if they're like all getting off the planet or what. A large asteroid is set to fly by Earth Tuesday afternoon. NASA's Center for Near-Earth Object Studies said the object, named 7482, will pass within about 1.2 million miles of the planet. The asteroid, estimated to be a kilometer wide. I don't know what a kilometer is. Here's what I know. They're saying it's like bigger than the Empire State Building. So it's big. Whatever. It's a big thing that's coming here and it's going to miss us, they say, but who knows? The asteroid, estimated to be a kilometer wide, is moving at 47,000 miles per hour. Plenty of time to get out of the way. NASA calls it a potentially hazardous asteroid because of its potential to make threateningly close approaches to the Earth. Scientists don't expect it to hit the Earth. Oh, good. They don't expect it to. We don't expect it to hit the Earth. Well, you know what scientists also told us? Scientists also told us that we'd probably have about 50,000 dead from coronavirus. Now they're saying, we could have 2 million dead in America before it's all done. It's just in America. It started out, they expected 50,000. Now they're saying, Scientists don't expect it to hit Earth, but NASA predicted that it's the closest an asteroid will come for the next 2 centuries. Amateur astronomers should be able to spot it with a small telescope. NASA is also tracking it via its Eyes on Asteroids website. And people can also watch the Virtual Telescope Project's live stream beginning at 3 p.m. Eastern, which is 2 o'clock our time. So you might want to check that out. Just Google Eyes on Asteroids website. And there you go. That's why asteroid is trending number 1. Let's see what else is happening here. Oh, here, look at this. Black diamond is trending. Apparently there is they found a black diamond from space. I don't know. Diamonds are kind of BS. Diamonds. Why did we decide the diamonds were the thing? Are they the hardest to get to, or are they just? Why is diamonds and gold? Well, yeah, Pugs, stupid. It's probably because they're the hardest to get to. It's probably because they're the rarest. Probably because people with money want to have things that are rare. Out of this world, 555.55 carat black diamond lands in Dubai. They believe it's from outer space. It didn't just land in Dubai. It landed they believe it came from a meteor or something. And but it's at the auction house in Dubai. Auction house Sotheby's Dubai has unveiled a diamond that's literally from out of this world. Sotheby's calls the 555.55 carat black diamond, believed to have come from outer space, the Enigma. The rare gem was shown off on Monday to journalists as part of a tour in Dubai and Los Angeles before it's due to be auctioned off in February in London. Sotheby's expects the diamond to be sold for at least 5 million British pounds. That's 6.8 million US dollars. The auction house plans to accept cryptocurrency as a possible payment as all. Why not? Why not? Why not accept cryptocurrency? This is a silly, made-up value for something that we're just deciding is worth that much. Why not take fake money for it? Hey, speaking of cryptocurrency, let's see how my ventures into cryptocurrency is doing today. Okay. Some of you have actually given me some cryptocurrency. Think you can donate to the show in any way possible. It certainly helps us keep the thing going. Let's see where crypto is at. We were at 1466. Oh boy, we're at 1388. Not good. All right. So my crypto is tanking again. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Back to the diamond. Sophie Stevens, a jewelry specialist at Sotheby's Dubai, told the Associated Press that the number 5, that's this diamond, bears an significance to the diamond, which has 55 facets as well. The shape of the diamond is based on the Middle Eastern palm symbol of, it's like this big, it looks like a lump of coal. It's a black diamond. And I'm telling you, at $6.8 million, somebody stupid, somebody with stupid money. Jake Paul's probably going to buy this stupid thing. Somebody dumb is going to buy this. Some hip hop guy is going to buy it for some girl that he's going to be, writing BS rhymes about in 2 years because she did him wrong. 6.8 million. That's pedestrian rich guy. That is something that a pedestrian rich guy can afford. 6.8 million. So really, how valuable could it be? Get it up to like $1 billion. And then you'll get the Bezoses of the world. Then you'll get the Elon Musks of the world involved. But at $6.8 million, $6.8 million for this black lump of coal, you're going to lure in some dumb guys with money. Jake Paul, I challenge you to buy this diamond. Jake Paul claims that he lost $3.5 million on Pokemon cards. It's not out of the realm of speculation that this dummy would buy a $6.8 million black chunk of coal. The shape of the diamond is based on the Middle Eastern palm symbol of the Kamsa, which stands for strength, and it stands for protection. So there's a nice theme of the number 5 running through the diamond, she added. Stephen also said that the black diamond is likely from outer space. Likely? I don't know. If we say it's from outer space, can we charge a little bit more? Oh, we can? It's likely from outer space. With the Carbonado diamonds, we believe that they were formed through extraterrestrial origins, with meteorites colliding with the Earth and either forming chemical vapor dispositions or indeed coming from the meteors themselves. She said black diamonds, also known as Carbonado, are extremely rare and are found naturally only in Brazil and Central Africa. The cosmic origin theory is based on their carbon isotopes and high hydrogen content. Don't know what any of that means, but go ahead. If you're a stupid rich guy and got $6.8 million, maybe you're a lotto winner. You could probably get that. Microsoft is trending today as well. Microsoft, they're buying Activision Blizzard, the gaming company. They're buying Activision Blizzard for $70 billion. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for Activision. It's a lot of money for something I'm not even sure what it is. I'm not even sure what Activision Blizzard is. $70 billion. Okay, let's look here. Channel 9 says Southwest Airlines flight 1248 and 1380 crashed. All right, so see, now I'm going down a rabbit hole because I was just talking about how Southwest Airlines never crashed. Let's see. Southwest Airlines crashes. Let's see here. Okay, AirSafe. Let's pull up AirSafe, which is plane crashes by airlines. Southwest Airlines got zero events. Southwest Airlines, 0 plane crashes. Now, what you may be looking at is a plane that was maybe it was operated by another airline, but it was flying at the time as Southwest, because as far as I know, the closest thing to the Southwest airline, look, I'm obsessed with plane crashes. The closest time that a Southwest Airlines plane ever had, an incident where people were injured was in Chicago about 6 years ago. Ironically, I believe it was a flight from Dallas to Chicago, and it landed on an icy runway, and it slid through the gates at Midway Airport and went right into an intersection where it killed a family who was in a minivan at a stoplight. The plane just crashed right through. But I'm gonna need to see some. You know what? Southwest Airlines flight 1248. I'll just look that up because this bothers me. This bothers me because I fly Southwest. Let's see here. Southwest Airlines flight 1248. Well, Channel 9, it comes up crash when I put it into Google. So let's find the details. Oh, there's a Wikipedia page. Okay. Southwest Airlines flight 1248 was a scheduled passenger flight from Baltimore, Maryland to Chicago, continuing on to Salt Lake City, Utah, and then to Las Vegas. On December 8th, 2005, the airplane, that's the one that slid off the runway in Chicago. That wasn't a crash. That's what I'm talking about. It was ice. Just slid through. The airplane slid off a runway at Chicago Midway while landing in a snowstorm and crashed into automobile traffic, killing a 6-year-old boy. Yeah, that was the kid. I'm looking at the picture of it. I remember when that happened. That was freaky. All right, so now I'll do the other one. Let's do the other one. The other one you say is 1380. Southwest Airlines 1380. See, I'm not looking to fight with you, Channel 9, but okay. Southwest Airlines flight 1380 crash. Okay, here we go. It's got its own Wikipedia page. Southwest Airlines Flight 1380 was a Boeing 737 that experienced a contained engine failure in the left engine after departing from New York LaGuardia Airport en route to Dallas Love Field in 218. The engine cowl was broken in the failure, and cowl fragments damaged the fuselage, causing explosive depressurization of the aircraft after damaging a cabin window. Other fragments caused damage to the wing. The crew conducted an emergency descent and diverted to Philadelphia International Airport. One passenger was partially ejected. Okay, that ain't good. That bodes well for you, Channel 9. One passenger was partially ejected from the aircraft and later died. 8 other passengers received minor injuries. The aircraft was... Okay, see again, a bit disingenuous, Channel 9. This is not what I'm talking about. This is, they got the plane on the ground. Almost everybody survived. This isn't like, the engine stopped working at 30,000 feet and everybody's dead. So I am going to stick with my Southwest Airlines belief that they've never crashed. Why? Because I'm a proud citizen of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and they're one of our... I love that airline. I'm sorry. I will have no Southwest slander. They don't pay me anything. I pay full price. This is not me just, the majority of my flights are between Dallas and Chicago. I always fly Southwest, so don't scare me. All right. Let's see what else we have here. Who else is trending here? Let's see. So we talked about Microsoft. They're buying the Activision Blizzard company for $70 billion. Weird Al Yankovic is trending. Yeah, Weird Al. Oh, man, look, let me tell you something about Weird Al. I love me some Weird Al. It dawned on me. Okay, so Weird Al to me was somebody who I loved when I was like 13, 14 years old. Oh, he was so funny. And I was a dumb kid and all that. So then as I got older, I became a bit more snobbish. And I remember thinking like, I don't know, when I was maybe like 25, I'd roll my eyes when you mentioned Weird Al. Oh, yeah, something I found funny at 13 years old. So I kind of fell off the Weird Al. And then I met him a couple of times. Then we interviewed him, and he was just the most lovely man, just the nicest guy. And I remember thinking, I was probably in my early 30s when I went, you know what? I was just a jerk for dismissing this guy. This guy has brought me so many smiles, so many this guy was just wonderful. His film, UHF, is fantastic. It is one of the great underrated comedies of all time. UHF, I think it's from 1989. Great movie. So like I said, I have these fond memories of him when I was little. I kind of turned on him a little because I was too cool for the room, and Weird Al didn't seem cool to me. I was more into like Guns N' Roses and just idiot stuff. Not the Guns N' Roses. I love Guns N' Roses, but you know what I'm saying. I was a little bit more of a meathead for a time. And then I rediscovered Weird Al Yankovic, and I'll tell you the absolute magic of Weird Al Yankovic that just drove home to me that this dude is a treasure. This guy is a national treasure. I have a 12-year-old son. About 4 years ago, he calls me into the room. He's watching something on YouTube, and he shows me the video for I'm Fat. Remember Weird Al's I'm Fat, the I'm Bad Michael Jackson parody? And at the time he was probably 8, 9 years old, he is laughing at this thing. And I'm like, dude, that's Weird Al. Weird Al is awesome. And me and my kid spent like the next hour just watching every Weird Al video. And I thought to myself, this is magic. This is something that transcends generations. This is something, if me at my age and my 8-year-old son can sit here and just be laughing about 30-year-old song parodies, then, there's something to be said for the man. So God bless Weird Al Yankovic. Why is he trending? Well, because there's a biopic about Weird Al that is coming out. Oh, interested in that, right? Are you interested in the life of Weird Al? I am. And guess what? Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter himself, is going to be portraying Weird Al Yankovic. Daniel Radcliffe is set to play Weird Al Yankovic in a biopic, Weird, the Al Yankovic story. Now, let me read you this article, and I want you to bear with me on here because I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, Weird Al, how is his life? And he's just fine. He's never been controversial. He's never been provocative. He's just always been this kind of lovable, silly guy who does song parodies. Daniel Radcliffe is about to get weird, as in Weird Al Yankovic. EW, Entertainment Weekly, has learned that the Harry Potter alum has been cast as the lead in Yankovic's upcoming biopic, Weird, the Al Yankovic story. Radcliffe will star as the Grammy-winning musician and pop parody icon in a film focusing on his prolific career. The biopic holds nothing back. Here's a quote now. I think this is a quote from Al. Yeah. The biopic holds nothing back, exploring every no, it's not from him. The biopic holds nothing back, exploring every facet of Yankovic's life, from his meteoric rise to fame with early hits like Eat It and Like a Surgeon, to his torrid celebrity love affairs and famously depraved lifestyle. Reads the film's official release. He's had no torrid love affair. He's got no famously depraved lifestyle. That's not Al. Reads the film's official release. Weird, the Al Yankovic story takes audiences on a truly unbelievable journey through Yankovic's life and career, from gifted child prodigy to the greatest musical legend of all time. Are you getting a theme here? It's going to be silly. Jordan Altus of Eat Entertainment. When my last movie, here's Al now. This is Al saying this. When my last movie, UHF, came out in 1989, I made a solemn vow to my fans that I would release a major motion picture every 33 years, like clockwork. I'm very happy to say that we are on schedule. He's so weird. Yankovic said in a statement, and I'm absolutely thrilled that Daniel Radcliffe will be portraying me in the film. I have no doubt whatsoever that this is the role future generations will remember him for. Come on. It's obviously a silly film. It's going to be presented. It's going to be a parody of the Hollywood biopic where, it shows... You know what I mean? Like maybe in the vein of Ray or, Walk the Line or whatever. It's Weird Al making a silly movie about his fictional life. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. Written by Yankovic and Erica Pell, who will also direct. The film, produced by Funny or Die, will be available exclusively for free on the Roku channel. Production begins in Los Angeles in February. Taking on the life and career of Yankovic is just the latest inspired choice in a long and fascinating list of Radcliffe's post-Harry Potter roles, from playing a farting dead body in 2016 Swiss Army Man to the hilarious villain in Now You See Me 2, to all of his scenes in TBS's The Miracle Worker. Yeah, all right, whatever. We'll move on. But anyway, this will be fun. It'll be fun. And look, UHF was brilliantly funny. And it was dismissed at the time as being sophomoric and stupid and juvenile and not exactly highbrow humor. I don't care. I can still watch UHF. As a matter of fact, I haven't watched UHF in a long time. I think it's time that I watch that with my 12-year-old because that movie was funny. Weird Al Yankovic, Daniel Radcliffe set to play him. And as Weird Al points out, I am certain that this is the role that future generations will remember Daniel Radcliffe for. Not Harry Potter. No, this one. All right, here's an interesting one. We got a guy, Gary Chambers is trending. You know who Gary Chambers is? Yeah, he's one of the Chambers brothers. No, he's not. He's running for senator down there in Louisiana. And he's trending. He's running against that John Kennedy. The other John Kennedy, not the... Boy, can you imagine being a politician, being born with the name John Kennedy and not being a Kennedy? This is Gary Chambers. He's trending because, here, I'm going to have to show this to you. This is his campaign ad. Tell me what you think. We'll watch this and there will be comments coming.
Every 37 seconds.
Okay, hold on. No, dismiss YouTube. I don't want to... Oh, my goodness. All right, here we go. So this is why Gary Chambers is trending. He is he's running for the Senate he's running for the seat that John Kennedy currently holds down there. Here he is. This is why he's trending.
Every 37 seconds, someone is arrested for possession of marijuana. Since 2010, state and local police have arrested an estimated 7.3 million Americans for violating marijuana laws, over half of all drug arrests. Black people are 4 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana laws than white people. States waste $3.7 billion enforcing marijuana laws every year. Most of the people police are arresting aren't dealers, but rather people with small amounts of pot, just like me. I'm Gary Chambers, and I'm running for the U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
All right, so we've got ads for political candidates sitting in a field in states where weed ain't legal, rolling a big old blunt. That's where we are. Now, the criticisms coming is, well, how are we going to overcome guy? You're openly, breaking the law, blah, blah, blah. His campaign is saying that, no, that field was in New Orleans, and New Orleans has recently decriminalized small amounts of marijuana. So, we didn't really break any laws. We sort of did, but all right. I mean, look, I'm all for the cause. I believe that there should be a federalization of marijuana laws. This waiting for one state at a time to do it is absolutely ridiculous. How can you be a criminal who is facing jail time in one state as a citizen of the United States, but in another state, you are a businessman. You are a respected member of the community, and so whatever. I just don't know that that's the way to go about doing it, and that's why he's trending. Maybe it is the way to go about doing it. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm too cautious. Maybe I'm just a little bit too. But if I was working on that campaign, I'd say, yeah, don't do that ad. You can talk about it, but you don't have to sit there. And although, look, probably wouldn't be trending if he was just another Senate candidate coming out in favor of legalization. There you go. That's why Gary Chambers is trending. Hamster Holocaust. Pugs, what? Hamster Holocaust? Yes, Hamster Holocaust is trending because Hong Kong is killing 2,000 hamsters because they believe they have coronavirus. 2,000 hamsters. They're just going to kill 2,000 hamsters. I know a dog in the other room who would love to kill 2,000 hamsters. Hong Kong has asked pet shops and owners to hand over close to 2,000 hamsters for culling by authorities after 11 of the small rodents tested positive for the coronavirus in a local pet shop. The territory has also suspended the import of all small animals. Authorities announced the decision on Tuesday after the city's health expert found 2 batches of hamsters, which originated in the Netherlands and arrived in Hong Kong on December 22nd and January 7th, to be, quote, high risk for carrying coronavirus. The hamsters turned over by pet owners will be killed to cut the transmission chain. Now imagine that. Imagine that. You're a little 8-year-old girl. You got your hamster. He's your best friend. And then someone, open up! Give us the hamster! That seems a little bit. Oh, geez. I just knocked out. Here comes my little hamster killer. Now, I was just knocking for effect, buddy. Go back and lay down. There are no hamsters here, and there's nobody at the door, stupid. It seems a little bit, I mean, they're demanding that pet owners who have hamsters turn their hamsters over. Now, look, a hamster isn't a dog. A hamster isn't a cat. Personally, I had a lot of hamsters as a kid, and sometimes, I don't know, they just end up dead. Sometimes I'd forget to feed them. Yeah, that's what kids do. I had, there was a hamster in our family that was making too much noise on the wheel. You know how at night people are trying to sleep and the hamster at like 3 o'clock in the morning is going on the wheel. So the family put the hamster down in the basement in January where there's no heat and the hamster froze. And I watched my grandfather bring that frozen hamster back to life. What are you saying, Pugs? That's not possible. I don't know. I was probably like 7 years old at the time. Maybe I don't have the facts straight, but I remember there was a frozen hamster that we were giving up for dead. And then I remember my grandpa putting like whiskey in its mouth and holding it next to a hairdryer and then the hamster moved. I have no recollection of how much longer that hamster lived. I just remember when I saw my grandpa bring that hamster back to life, I am sold. This guy can do no wrong. This man with booze and a hairdryer just brought a dead animal back to life. I know I'm only 7 years old, but this is kind of mind-blowing. Evidence shows that the hamsters are infected with COVID-19. This is the Hong Kong hamsters. It is impossible to quarantine and observe each of them, and their incubation period could be long, said Long Su Fai, Director of Agriculture and Fisheries in Hong Kong. The role of pets in the transmission of coronavirus has been studied and debated since the start of the pandemic. But for the most part, it appears to be one-way street, with animals getting infected by their owners and generally recovering quickly. The U.S. Center for Disease Control called the risk of animals spreading the virus to people to be low, but noted that the virus can spread from people to animals during close contact. The exception appears to be minks, with cases of humans getting infected by them. Minks. Who the hell has a mink? In 2020, Denmark culled some 17 million minks after they found to be at risk of carrying coronavirus. The government later admitted that the minks were improperly killed and buried, and a commission of inquiry has been established. Oh, stop it. Oh, stop it. Yes, we are going to take valuable legislative time to figure out if these minks who had coronavirus suffered here in the Netherlands. Hong Kong, the city, like mainland China, is holding firm to a policy of zero COVID, imposing extreme 21-day quarantine requirements on any overseas arrival. The territory was also able to maintain zero local infections for weeks until December, when 2 flight attendants returning from the United States, we did it, oops, returning from the United States infected with the highly transmissible Omicron variant, went out into the community and spread the virus. Last week, a 23-year-old woman working at a pet shop called Little Boss in Hong Kong's Causeway Bay was found to be infected with the Delta variant, which has been rare in the city. All right, so there you go. So that's why Hamster Holocaust is trending. Hamster Holocaust is going on down there in Hong Kong. Hong Kong Hamster Holocaust. Boy, I like that alliteration. Hong Kong Hamster Holocaust. Adele is trending. She's also singing. She's trending because she's singing. Adele is set to become the highest paid residence in history of Las Vegas. This is a relatively new thing with the last 20 years where, it used to be when your career was over, when your career was like, you weren't selling many albums, you would go to Vegas and you would be a show in Vegas, right? And then there are people who actually made entire careers out of just being Vegas people. Your Wayne Newtons, your Siegfried and Roy's, people like that. They weren't. Wayne Newton wasn't touring the country. Wayne Newton wasn't playing, the Civic Dome in Akron. He wasn't. But about 20 years ago, was it Celine Dion, who I think was the first person who said, I don't want to tour anymore. And she just took up residence at a hotel in Vegas, and they paid her a whole bunch of money. And if you wanted to see Celine Dion, she was, and I say that's different because she was still relevant. Like Celine Dion could have still toured. Your mom, your aunt, they would have gone and seen, your mother-in-law, they would have gone and seen Celine Dion. But she was like the first one. And now Adele is doing, Lady Gaga did, Elton John did, Justin Timberlake did it, Britney Spears did it. I mean, now it's a thing. Now it's like, Vegas. You go to Vegas and you can see like a really big act who's just playing there. Rolling in it. Adele will pocket over 500,000 pounds a night. Okay, so what is that? Like 1.5 million? Is that in dollars? I can figure this out. What is 500,000 pounds? Is that L? Yeah. Pounds in American money. There we go. Yeah, somebody already asked that question. Oh, not $1.5 million. Sorry, I was a little bit off. So like 700 grand a show. She's going to make like 700 grand a show. She can do 3 shows a weekend. Pretty good. Adele will earn $700,000 per show, making her one of the highest paid female stars in the history of Las Vegas residencies. Tickets for Weekends with Adele at Caesars Palace Coliseum, range from, and then it's good again. It's got the pounds thing. They're expensive. Let me just put it this way: they're expensive. Nobody watching this can afford it. And if you can, may I direct your attention to how we support this stream? You can donate by going to. That's the wrong one. I just realized I got the wrong one up. Can't do that. Here you go. Here you go. If you can afford that to see Adele, you can certainly afford to throw a little bit the way of this show to keep it going. Thank you. That's going to be my mention for the day. The superstar singer will get her cut from sales as well as from merchandise sold at the 4,200 seat venue. She'll be treated to a host of perks, with Caesars laying on a 30,000 pound a night private suite. That's just stupid. 30. Okay, so what is that? Okay, again, Pugs, you've already proven that you can't do a conversion between British pounds and American dollars. So let's say 45. So let's say she will be treated to a host of perks, with Caesars laying on a $45,000 a night private suite, accessible at any time during the residency. A butler, executive assistant, chauffeur, and security will also be provided. My God. My God. You know, my line for hotel rooms is like, if I'm going big, it's $200 a night. I won't stay in a hotel. If it's a nice hotel, if I want to have a nice night in a nice, decent hotel with room service and maybe a nice lounge in the lobby, whatever, and my line is $200. If I'm on the road traveling from here to there, my line is $100. I cannot fathom $45,000 a night for a hotel room. It's because you're not rich, Pugs. No, if I had that, look, if I had enough money for a $45,000 a night hotel, there would be no hungry kids in my city. I'm sorry, there are just more important. You liberal piece of. Oh yeah, because I think that money could be put to work for better things than $45,000 a night ego beds. That's. Calm down. Well, they earn the money. They can do what they want with it. Yes, they can. Absolutely can. And I can criticize you for being an asshole. That's how it works. You are absolutely right. You earn the money. You can spend it any way you want. But then I get to go, you're a dick. She'll be treated to a host of perks. We talked about that. Adele and guests will also be able to eat and drink for free at any Caesars resort. Like, that's a big deal. Like really? You're gonna. Are they gonna get coupons? Are they, when they go and wait in line at the Caesars buffet, will they go, and I'm Adele. I'm staying in the $45,000 a night suite upstairs. Here, will you punch my card, please? A source said Adele is the hottest ticket in Las Vegas right now, and she's raking in a pretty penny from it. She's expected to make over $750,000 per gig per night, thanks to ticket sales alone. Even before the merchandising. So she also gets her merchandising, her merch. Do you think in the middle of the show she'll be like, on your way out, buy a t-shirt at the table, the folding table, like some shoddy comic. Adele's just got a folding table with a bunch of boxes, and Caesars has rolled out the red carpet to ensure she's treated like the superstar that she is. Rod Stewart is believed to have made 1.9 million pounds a show for his 2012 residency at the Coliseum. Lady Gaga is said to have made $700,000 per gig from her MGM Park Theater residency between 2017 and 2019. Adele announced last year that she'd be playing 24 concerts on Fridays and Saturdays at Caesars. Oh, it's only 2 shows. Yeah, she didn't need to do a show on Sunday. They run from this week until April 16th. So there you go. That's why Adele is trending, because, hey, she's good. I mean, she's good, and she seems like a cool, decent woman. So look, if somebody's got to make that money, may as well be her. Who else is trending here? Twitter troublemaker. Is he a troublemaker? I don't know. Rex Chapman is trending. You might remember Rex Chapman. He was the University of Kentucky standout basketball player. Played the NBA for, well over a decade. Never turned out to be the superstar that he was in college. But now he's like a big Twitter guy. He's I follow him on Twitter. He does some, basically he just retweets great things. Like, he finds like great things and then he retweets them. He also famously, after his stint in the NBA, he had some legal troubles. He became a drug addict. He was addicted to pain pills. Not altogether unique for athletes who've suffered a lot of injuries. And he was down on his luck and he stole something from an Apple store, and that's he was famous for that. But he rebounded. He now seems to be he went on to be a director of player development for the Denver Nuggets, and he had jobs in the NBA at various levels of management. He also is a play-by-play guy, I believe, for the University of Kentucky or something down there. And he's also big on Twitter. He's got like millions of followers on Twitter. And, he's, like I said, here's what I like about his Twitter stuff. He's very optimistic. Like his stuff, none of his stuff is like, I hate, I'm angry, look at these. I mean, it's for the most part. He does sometimes do some pretty questionable things, I suppose, now that I'm thinking about it. But overall, like if he's doing 10 tweets, 7 of them are going to make you go, oh, isn't that fun? Many of our moment of joys come from his Twitter account that he retweets. But why is he trending? Why is Rex Chapman trending today? Because CNN has signed him to be a host on their new CNN Plus platform. CNN Plus is a streaming platform that CNN is going to be rolling out. And it appears to me from following everything that's happening with CNN Plus, CNN has completely given up on doing news. They are now all about entertainment. They are now all about infotainment or whatever. Here. Well, I'll just read you the story. Why not? No, we don't need. I don't need to read you this. I don't need to read you the story. But that's all you need to know. Rex Chapman. That's why he's trending. CNN has hired him to do a new show on their. I don't know if it's coming or if it's already here. Their streaming platform, CNN Plus. Oh my goodness, I'm running out of battery here on my computer. We'll be good. We'll make it. I believe. Who else? What else is trending? Earthquake. There was an earthquake in California today. And if you are on Twitter or Facebook and you do have friends from all around the country, when the slightest earthquake occurs, because there is nothing Californians like to be more over the top than earthquakes. Oh my God, there's another earthquake. I mean, within minutes of any earthquake, every single person I've ever met that I follow or have some sort of friendship with in California, they all start. A magnitude 3.5 earthquake strikes near Idlewild. I don't know where that is. A magnitude 3.5 earthquake struck near Idlewild in Riverside County. Okay, I know where that is. Monday evening. Oh, so this was last night. Maybe last night, early this morning. It is a 2-hour time difference. Who knows? The tremor hit at 11:39 p.m. about 6 miles from Idlewild Pine Cove area in the San Jacinto Mountains. The quake, which was also about 10 miles from Valley Vista, 13 miles from Palm Springs, and 37 miles from San Bernardino, had a depth of about 7.5 miles. I don't know what any of this means. I've never experienced an earthquake. If you felt a quake, you can report it to the USGS Felt Report. That's United States Geological Service. There were no reports of injuries or damages in the past 10 days. Now, this is why I want to spend a little time on this. In the past 10 days, there have been 2 earthquakes with a magnitude of 3.0 or greater centered nearby this area, the Los Angeles Times reported. Man, there's some stuff going on in the world. We got earthquakes. We got volcanoes erupting. We got tsunamis. We got an asteroid that, we are about an hour away from either being extinct, the human race dying off completely, or just missing us. There is some stuff going on. There are a lot of earthquakes and natural disasters and just weirdness going on. And I truly don't know if these are things that are ramping up, if these are things that are just occurring now with greater frequency than ever before, or if we're just more aware of them when they do occur because of our connectivity, because of social media, because of the ability of a random citizen to report any kind of weird phenomena that occurs, weather-related, earth-shaking related, whatever it is. I don't know. But it does seem to me that within at least the last week, there have been a lot of things. Did you see the Tonga volcano stuff? A volcano that is like half in the ocean and half sticking out of the water erupted on Friday night. And crazy, man. It created a tsunami that went as far as the American West Coast, Hawaii, but also New Zealand and Australia. That is crazy. And in the volcano itself, the Tongalinese volcano, they have these satellite pictures of, just look at it, Google it, Google Tonga volcano eruption and watch the videos. You see this volcano erupting from outer space and it's huge. It's like a satellite picture and it's in the middle of the ocean. And then all of a sudden there's this big white cloud, this big white explosion in the middle of the ocean. Something's going on, folks. Something's going on. That's all I'm saying. It's weird. Let's see what else is trending. Oh, something that we've been tracking for the last couple of weeks. Because, there's one thing that I'm good at. It's watching TV. How I Met Your Father has debuted on Hulu. This is one of those new TV shows. We covered the new TV shows of 2020. How I Met Your Father. It seems like a bit of a tap out. Seems like, hey, How I Met Your Mother was so popular. And I mentioned earlier we were going to talk about this because it's Jason Segal's birthday, who was one of the stars of How I Met Your Mother. How I Met Your Father debuted on Hulu this week, the first 2 episodes. And here's something that I guess I didn't really notice. I wasn't a massive fan of How I Met Your Mother, but I enjoyed it. I didn't watch every episode. I didn't see all the seasons. I thought Barney was funny. I thought it was it reminded me in a way of Friends, it's in the category with Friends. Although I do remember having an argument with somebody, a girl I was dating at some point, and I believe I took the side that How I Met Your Mother was funnier than Friends. I don't even know that I really believe that. But in the moment, I saw a good point to argue, and I took it. But what I didn't realize about How I Met Your Mother was that the narrator was Bob Saget. Did you guys know that? Now that I think about it, I'm like, oh, yeah, that is obviously Bob Saget. But I didn't, I guess I didn't put it together. So the new How I Met Your Father series, which is, the female perspective on How I Met Your Mother. And it's not the same characters. These are all new characters. This is just, the same template of someone explaining to their child how they met their father. And then it's all done in flashbacks and stuff like that. But the new series, How I Met Your Mother, paid tribute to Bob Saget. Hulu's How I Met Your Mother spinoff series, How I Met Your Father, debuted with its first 2 episodes Tuesday, paying tribute to the late Bob Saget, who narrated the original CBS sitcom that birthed the new Hilary Duff series. At the end of the sitcom's first installment, a title card reads, "In loving memory of Bob Saget," in honor of the comedian who voiced the older version of Josh Radnor's Ted Mosby on all 9 seasons of How I Met Your Mother. That I didn't realize. I think in the moment, I'd have been like, oh, it's Bob Saget, but it didn't stick with me. Saget died on January 9th at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Orlando, Florida. He was 65 years old. In a statement to Variety about the title card tribute, How I Met Your Mother and How I Met Your Father exec producers Craig Thomas, Carter Bays, and Pam Fryman said, "The wit, the wisdom, and above all, the kindness fans heard in Bob Saget's voice as Ted Mosby in the year 2030 was no act. It's who Bob really was. And it's how all of us in the How I Met Your Mother family will always remember him. Rest in peace to a truly legendary human. You'll be so missed, Bob, because you were so loved." Now, I think, and I haven't watched this yet on Hulu, and if I'm being honest, I probably won't. I don't know. I might check it out. I might watch like 10 minutes of it. But I think that the narrator for this series, How I Met Your Father, is Kim Cattrall. Or is it Cattrall? Whatever. Kim Cattrall is I know that she appears in human form as the future version of the Hilary Duff character. So Hilary Duff plays in the flashbacks the mother who's dating and how she met the guy that she would eventually have kids with. It's the story of Hilary Duff in the flashbacks, but I believe that in the scenes, which is a little different than How I Met Your Mother, because we never saw the father actually talking to the kids about how they met their mother. Maybe in the later episodes, but not early on. How I Met Your Mother takes place in the near future, where Sophie Duff is telling her son the story of how she met his father, a story that catapults us back to the year 2021, where Sophie and her close-knit group of friends are in the midst of figuring out who they are, what they want out of life, and how to fall in love in the age of dating apps and limitless options. The How I Met Your Mother spinoff stars Duff, Christopher Lowell, Francio Rasha, Tom Ainsley, Tien Tran, and Siraj Sharma, alongside recurring stars Kim Cattrall, Daniel Augustine, Ashley Reyes, and Josh Peck. How I Met Your Father is written by Isaac Apting. We don't care about any of this, do we? I'm just looking for fun facts about the show. All right, that's it. All right, yeah, Kim Cattrall does play the older version. Maybe she narrates it. I don't know. You folks, you're doing nothing. I got a bunch of things going on here. I'm waiting on an asteroid to come take us all out. I'm trying to keep this battery dying computer up. I'm making sure that we're still connected online. You people go pull up Hulu for a second. Tell me if it's Kim Cattrall doing the narration. Pooh, let's see here. Kyler Murray is trending. Yeah, that wasn't so good last night. That was the curse of old Pugs, man. I'm telling you, I went all in on the Cardinals. I'm like, I'm going to root for the Cardinals. They're my new adopted team. And they crapped the bed. They were not a good team last night. The Rams beat the snot out of them. And now the folks there in Arizona are openly questioning whether or not Kyler Murray is the guy. For Kyler Murray, the questions will keep coming. There's a lot of people talking about Kyler Murray today. I feel bad for this kid. I'm sure Kyler Murray will look forward to another year of questions about whether or not he has a big win within him. Last season, the Cardinals only needed to win one of their last two to make the playoffs, and Murray put up a 66 QB rating in Week 16 against the Niners, and then was hurt for the season finale. Now consider that the Cardinals lost 4 of their last 5 regular season games this season after starting the year 7-0, and Murray has struggled. He had an 85.9 passer rating in Week 16 and failed to surpass 100 in all but one of his last 5 starts. And then he had this disaster last night, including maybe the worst interception in the history of playoff football. All right, I'll show this. I said this last night. James and I were talking about, we did a whole Dallas Cowboys postmortem on the game and all that last night on Pillow Talk. And I showed this last night, but here, this is, here we go. We'll see it again for those of you who didn't join us. I called it last night the worst interception that I believe I have ever seen an NFL quarterback throw. It was not good. But here, this is a different angle. Not a different angle, but it's a different coverage of it because this one comes from the Madden cast. And it's interesting. You guys know what the Madden cast is? This is so brilliant. This is such a wonderful option if you like watching football. You can watch the actual football game with the broadcast crew, the play-by-play guy and the color guy. And then, if you don't want that, there is another option on another channel where it's called the Manning Cast. And it's just the Manning brothers, Eli and Peyton, just watching the game. They're just watching the game, and they're commenting on the game is there. And then there's little boxes where you see them on camera, unlike the traditional play-by-play where there's not a little box where you can see the guys. You can't see Tony Romo and Jim Nantz there. No, they don't do that. But on the Manning Cast, you do. You see Peyton, you see Eli, and then they bring guests in. They're big celebrity guests, and then their box will be there. And it's just like watching a football game with really smart football minds. So last night, this is how it went down during the Manning Cast when Kyler Murray threw what I believe was the absolute worst interception that I have ever seen in the NFL. All right, let's bring this up. There's the Manning. Oh, I did it wrong. Holy crap. All right, I apologize. Yeah. All right. And Rock. Rock. Oh, what am I, an idiot? Which one is it? All right, let's get rid of that. Okay, I'll get rid of this. There we go. All right. Dwayne The Rock Johnson was on with him. So it's Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, and Dwayne The Rock Johnson when Eli Manning did what I think is the absolute worst interception I've ever seen a quarterback throw. Here it is.
And when your back is to the wall, every moment in life, you have one place to go, and that's forward. Let's go.
Oh, no.
No! Big 6.
Well,
Clearly,
good time to do
could
this.
not hear you, Dwayne. Now, drink up. They couldn't hear Larry Fitzgerald. They couldn't hear Dwayne. Eli, Matthew Stafford did that earlier in the year as well.
And when your back is to the wall,
there you have it. That's the coverage of what I believe is the worst interception I've ever seen in an NFL game, as covered by Eli Payton and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Kyler Murray's being roundly criticized for that, but also there's Kyle Kingsbury, head coach, is also trending. People are saying, maybe Kyle Kingsbury, maybe he ain't so great. Maybe he is not as great a coach as we thought when we dragged him out of the college ranks and anointed him the next great genius. But also trending, Cards Curse. This is interesting. I'd never heard this before. Sports mythology is just littered with all kinds of silliness that make the story a little bit more vivid, a little bit more interesting, ways to explain to an excruciatingly pained fan base why their team has sucked so legendarily for all these years. And a lot of times they bring up like some gypsy curse or some kind of nonsense where people go, okay, well, I refuse to believe that we have just been inept through bad decisions, poor management, and subpar talent. So I'm going to believe that a gypsy once cursed our team, and that makes more sense to me. There is a cards curse that I did not know about. And by the way, this all stems from the fact that the Cardinals NFL football franchise is of the big four professional sports. You get your baseball, your football, your basketball, and your NHL. Of your big four American sports, no team has had a title drought longer than the Cardinals. And it's 1947. 1947 was the last time that they won a title. At that point, they were the Chicago Cardinals, Chicago's South Side team. And they moved to St. Louis. Then they moved all over Arizona for a couple of times. Now they're just the Arizona Cardinals. But did you know there was a curse? I didn't know there was a curse. And I got to tell you, I read this curse, and I think this curse is absolute BS. Okay, let me see if I can get it for you here. All right, no thanks. It starts in 1925, which already is absolute BS because they won a title in 1947. So if the curse started in did it take 1947 off? It starts in 1925. The Maroons were a team from Pennsylvania coal country, big tough boys who worked hard in the mines. They hit harder. Red Grange, arguably the best professional football player in the country, was knocked out twice in a game against the Maroons and walked off the field saying, "The hell with the $500 that he made per game. The hell with the $500. It just ain't worth it." Red Grange never said that. I'm sorry. I know that they're making, well, Pugs says here in the curse that, this is Red Grange said. Yeah, it also says that they were cursed in 1925, but somehow won a title in 1947. So just stop it. You're already on thin ice with this story, you gypsy weirdo. The Maroons surprised many sports fans by rising quickly through the ranks of the young NFL during the team's first season competing. The Maroons played their games about 100 miles from the Frankfort section of Philadelphia, home to another NFL team, the Frankfort Yellow Jackets. They had lost to the Yellow Jackets once that season. It was their only loss, but then beat them in a rematch 49-0. The Cardinals were the Chicago Cardinals in 1925, and they were one of the best teams in a league that could be charitably called organized. So when the 9-2 Maroons met the Cardinals, most fans of professional football considered it the championship game. Again, most fans considered it. All right, what do you mean most fans? And it's not the championship game. It's just a game between two really good teams. This is such a BS story. This is not like the Chicago Cubs goat curse. This is not the New York Mets what's Cubs black cat curse too. A lot of curses around the Cubs. The Maroons easily defeated the Cardinals in their matchup 21-7, and the team's fans began to celebrate the presumed championship victory. Well, that's just stupid because it was just a regular season game, dummy. It wasn't the championship. What are you celebrating for? But the revelry didn't last long. The Yellow Jackets objected. According to an article written by Stephen Couch in the Journal of Sports History, the Yellow Jackets complained that their neighboring team had violated their territorial rights by playing an exhibition game in Philadelphia 1 week after the Cardinals match. An NFL commissioner ruled in favor of the Yellow Jackets and penalized the Maroons by suspending the team. So that was really the whole reason that the NFL started. The NFL wasn't about creating this league, this crazy valuable hundreds of $billion league that it is today. In the original days of the NFL, it was simply about businessmen who ran teams who needed to hammer out an agreement with other teams to not infringe on their area. Okay, we're the team that plays in this 40 square mile area. You guys got to play in your 40 square. And that's essentially why the NFL was formed. It was to make sure that the teams that existed didn't have competition for fan dollars. So the Maroons, they violated that in the year that they supposedly won a championship during a regular season game, and they were mad. So they blamed the Cardinals, and then it is said that there was a curse because the Cardinals went on to win the championship that year, even though they had lost to the Maroons. And so now that's one of the greatest injustices in NFL history has been perpetrated. Former Coach Couch wrote, residents of the Pottsville area, led by sporting goods store owner Joe Zacco, protested for years in vain. David Fleming, who's written books and articles on the Maroons, has called the 1925 territorial claim made against the team bogus and has asked for Pottsville's victory to be recognized by the league. The NFL committee investigated the Maroons-Cardinals debacle in the 1960s, and the league's executive board ruled in favor of the Cardinals, despite finding some validity to the claims made by the Maroons. The Maroons deserve their own championship trophy. No, they don't. They won a regular season game over the team that would eventually be. The Cardinals have only gotten to play in one Super Bowl match since the first championship game in 1947. They will never win a championship until they do right by Pottsville, Pennsylvanians said. That's the curse. That's the curse. It's stupid. What? But they did win a championship again. They won a championship in 1940s. Cardinal curse. This is what's trending today. Folks, there's not a whole lot trending today. That's why we're wasting time on this. Uyghurs. Uyghurs are trending. You know, Uyghurs, those are the people that the Chinese don't like. The Chinese, there's a whole religious group there in China, the Uyghurs, and they're being rounded up and they're being put in re-education camps, and the world is calling them concentration camps and all that kind of thing. It's just a terrible human rights disaster going over in China. And nobody really seems all that worried about it. Well, the Uyghurs are trending because the co-owner, a person who owns a chunk of the Golden State Warriors, went on a podcast and basically said some really crappy billionaire shit. and I don't know that he's wrong. I don't know that he's wrong. A part owner of the Golden State Warriors has backtracked after saying that nobody cares about the human rights abuses suffered by the Uyghur people at the hands of the Chinese government. Shamath Palihapitiya, a billionaire venture capitalist, posted a clarification of his comments to Twitter on Wednesday. He said this: I recognize that I came across as lacking empathy. As a refugee, my family fled from a country, Sri Lanka, with its own set of human rights issues, so this is something that is very much part of my lived experience. To be clear, my belief is that human rights matter, whether in China, the United States, or elsewhere. His comments were made on the All In podcast. He was discussing why Joe Biden's support for the Uyghurs had not helped the president's poll ratings. He said, and we quote, "Let's be honest, nobody cares about what's happening to the Uyghurs. You bring it up because you really care, and I think that's nice that you care. The rest of us, we don't care. I'm telling you a very hard, ugly truth. Of all the things that I care about, this is below my line." He added that caring about human rights around the world is a luxury belief. The reason I think that is that we don't do enough domestically to actually express that view in real, tangible ways, he said. So until we actually clean up our own house, the idea that we step outside our borders with us morally virtue signaling about someone else's human rights record is deplorable. The Warriors soon distanced themselves from their co-owners as saying, as a limited investor who has no day-to-day operating functions with the Warriors, Mr. Palihapitiya does not speak on behalf of our franchise, and his views certainly don't reflect those of our organization. I want to show you what he said, because I just read you what he said, but maybe if we can just hear him and see him while saying it, it'll give us a little bit more context for whether he's being truthful and sincere in his, where is it? There it is. Okay. There we go. I mean, he said something on a podcast. It blew up in his face, and now people are saying you're like the worst kind of billionaire, blah, blah, blah. We all get it. So let's watch it, and let's judge for ourselves. And then I've got some comments. Here we go. Ba-boom. Here we are. All right. Here it is.
Again, let's be honest, nobody cares about what's happening to the Uyghurs, okay? You bring it up because you really care, and I think that's nice that you care. The rest of us don't care. I'm just telling you a very hard...
Wait, you're saying you personally don't care?
I'm telling you a very hard, ugly truth, okay? Of all the things that I care about, yes, it is below my line. Okay? Of all the things that I care about, it is below my line.
Disappointing.
Nobody cares about...
Okay, so there is a billionaire whose family were refugees, who came from, admittedly, a place that had their own human rights disaster, Sri Lanka, saying quite honestly that he does not care. And what do you mean, honestly? Well, he's being honest. He doesn't care. He doesn't care, and he's not creating some flowery BS. He's just coming straight out and saying, it's a bad look for a billionaire. Definitely. I'll give you that. You don't, the evil billionaire thing is a thing. It's a real thing. And you got this billionaire who is, again, someone who you would think, because of his own origin story, would be a little bit more empathetic, a little bit more understanding, and a little bit more involved in these kinds of things. With all of that said, I happen to believe that he is 100% right. It is virtue signaling. It is, I care so much about the Uyghurs. No, you don't. No, you really don't. You're just saying that because you think it puts you on a moral high ground and it allows you to virtue signal and preach to the rest of us. We can be bothered by it. I'm bothered by it. Every time I hear about what's happening there in the re-education camps in China, I go, yeah, that's really terrible. But have you seen the price of meat in grocery stores? I mean, we don't truly care. We don't. We say some people who have no real problems in their life, the radical 22-year-old girl who dresses all in black on Facebook and on Twitter, she's caring about it, but she ain't doing anything about it. There is nothing that we can do. What are we going to do about it? This is China. Do you know how many problems we have with China? Yes, it is nice to believe that we here in the United States of America, that we have empathy and an understanding and a commitment to calling to action anything that we can do against human rights violators, unless it's China. We ain't getting into that mess with China. We ain't getting into them. We'll get into that mess with a little country that we can maybe pressure and scare, but we can't do that with China. So life goes on. Gas prices continue to rise. People are struggling to pay their rent. Kids are in school. They're out of school. We have real day-to-day issues in this world. And what this guy is saying in the most ugly billionaire way possible is that the average person has a line of things that they truly care about. And the Uyghur situation in China is not above the line of caring for most people. Like I said, most of us we're worried about the coronavirus. We have an asteroid that is now 32 minutes away from ending all life on this planet, and nobody cares about that. Is it an ugly thing to say? Yes. Should he have said it so publicly? Absolutely not. But, when you're a billionaire, you got what they call FU money. You could say whatever you want, and it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you're still going to eat steak and lobster. That's, you're just like, they're not going to take his money away because he said that. He can say whatever he wants. It's a bad look, for sure. It's not something that he should have said publicly. But man, he's not wrong. He is not wrong. The people who are all bent out of shape about the Uyghur situation, we hear it all the time. Not as much as we would hear about it if we actually did care. And maybe this sounds cold and maybe this sounds callous, but I think that if you take me in full context, you know that I'm not cold. You know that I don't lack empathy. You know that I am simply saying that this guy is getting trashed for saying something, for saying the quiet part out loud. That's what he's not wrong, though. He is not wrong. There are all kinds of things that we can be concerned about and, pearl clutch about, but we ain't going to do anything about it. The United States of America is not going to challenge the Chinese on their Uyghur policy. We're just not. If people were marching in the streets, if people were demanding that we do, maybe. But we're busy marching in the streets about other things. We're busy, we're wearing pink hats and reproductive rights, and we're busy, trying to change a vote count. There are things in this world that the average day-to-day American cares about. And I'm sorry, it just ain't the Uyghur situation. And that's terrible because those people are going through some hell. But but Pugs, we've always cared. No, we really always haven't cared. It took us forever to get involved in World War II. The Nazis were doing stuff to Jews for years and years, and the United States of America was like, oh, that's their business. We can't really be involved in that. We didn't get into World War II because we were sick of what Hitler was doing to Jewish people. We got into World War II because Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. And then we figured, if this is going to be an all-out war, we're going to need England. And you know what? England's been trying to get us to help them with the Western War in Europe. I guess we're going to have to do these both at the same time. That's how we got involved in World War II. The United States of America, the people, the citizens, we didn't care about the Jews. We worried about it. We heard about it. We thought it was terrible, but whatever. Back to doing whatever it is that we're doing. And it's the same thing with the Uyghurs. God, that's ugly for you to say, Pugs. It is ugly. We are ugly people. We are ugly people. Take a look around, folks. All right, continuing on. So that's why the Warriors owner got himself in trouble. Because, he said the quiet part out loud, but he's not wrong. It is below, the Uyghur situation is below the line of caring for most rank and file American citizens. And anybody who pretends like it's the most important thing that is facing us today is just wrong. They're virtue signaling, and they're just trying to be a pearl clutcher and make the rest of us feel like we're morally inferior to them. Terrible situation. Nobody doubts it, but moving on. All right. Oh, this was interesting. I like this. Adam says, we also didn't know what the Nazis were doing specifically to the Jews until we came upon the camps. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. We didn't publicly acknowledge it, but we absolutely knew what was going on. We had American spies reporting back for years about the war. By the way, this is the anniversary. I didn't mention it because it's kind of a dark thing. This is the anniversary of the Warsaw Uprising in the Warsaw Ghetto. We knew what was going on. That is a very believe the propaganda, reformist history view of things, Adam. We totally knew. We were being told by everybody. The Brits were begging us. The rest of Europe was begging us. Poland was begging us before they fell. France was begging us. We knew. Now, we may not have known the actual horrors of what was going on in the concentration camps, but we knew that there were concentration camps, and we knew that Jewish citizens of Europe were checking in and not checking out. The problem is that there was a huge portion of the American people in the 1940s who thought Hitler was right. We were a very anti-Semitic country back then. Today, there is still pockets of anti-Semitism. We see it. We see the reformation of the Nazi Party and the Aryan nation being taken more serious now than they have been in the last 70 years. But back then, in the 1940s, people in America hated Jews. They were like the worst possible. They control the banks, they control how. That was a very real thing. The American people were not going to back the American forces going into Europe to protect the Jews. That's the reality. As ugly, I know. It's a terrible way to think about our great-grandparents, but it's true. In my case, grandparents. That's real history. Okay, here's something else that's real history. This is a terrible transition. How did you go from probably the darkest subject matter that's trending today, the Uyghur situation? The public didn't know. I mean, Walter Winchell was all over it. Walter Winchell was reporting it. The public, he was, more people listened to Walter Winchell. He was like the Twitter. He was the Facebook of the time. I mean, he's a bad guy, don't get me wrong, but he was reporting these atrocities that were happening to, and we had crap ton. Man, we had the USS, I believe it was the USS Roosevelt, which, another thing that we don't learn about in American history classes, but something that really happened. Here, let me make sure before Pugs, what are you talking about? Hold on, let me just pull this up. So that I can read you the vibe of the American people. No, that's not it. Okay, so it's not the Roosevelt. Hold on. Hold on. That's it. It's the St. Louis. All right. The MS St. Louis. The MS St. Louis was a boat that left Hamburg, Germany, filled with Jews fleeing Nazi oppression. And it made it to New York City. And we wouldn't let it dock. We sent the entire boat of people back to the Nazis because America didn't care about the Jews. We never learned that in history class in high school. That's one that we just glossed over. The MS St. Louis was a diesel-powered passenger ship properly referred to with the prefix MS or MV, built by the Bremer Vulcan shipyards in Bremen, Germany, better known in English as the Hamburg American Line. The ship was named after the city of St. Louis, Missouri. Her sister ship, the MS Milwaukee, was also a diesel-powered motor. All right, we don't care about that. Let's see. Voyage of the Damned. That's what this is about. Voyage of the Damned. Under the command of Captain Gustav Schroeder, the St. Louis set sail from Hamburg to Havana, Cuba on May 13, 1939, carrying 937 passengers, most of them Jewish refugees seeking asylum from Nazi oppression. Captain Schroeder was a German who went to great lengths to ensure dignified treatment for his passengers. Food served included items subject to rationing in Germany, and childcare was available while parents dined. Dances and concerts were put on, and on Friday evening, religious services were held in the dining room. A bust of Hitler was covered by a tablecloth during the voyage. Swimming lessons took place in the pool. A boy traveling with his parents said that the passengers thought of it as a vacation cruise to freedom. Bound for Cuba, the ship dropped anchor at 4 a.m. on May 27th at the far end of the Havana harbor, what was denied entry to the docking areas. The government, headed by President Federico Labrua, refused to accept the foreign refugees on the impetus. Although they had, where's the U.S. thing? 4 months before World War II began, Havana abandoned the immigration policy. The United States bolstered after the ship had been in the harbor for 5 days. Only 28 passengers were allowed to get off. 22 were Jews that had no valid American visas. The United States of America. Yeah, we sent them back. We basically sent them back. They docked in Cuba, and the Cuban government said, hey, what do you want us to do with this? And the American Navy said, yeah, we're going to send them back because we don't want to be involved in this. St. Louis, let's see. Neither Hull nor U.S. President Franklin Roosevelt chose to intervene and admit the refugees. Captain Schroeder considered running the St. Louis aground along the coast to allow the refugees to escape, but acting on Hull's instructions, United States Coast Guard vessels shadowed the ship and prevented them from the grounding. So we actually sent our Coast Guard ships to make sure that they couldn't lie. We didn't care. We didn't care. I mean, hindsight, seen a lot of beautiful movies about how much we cared, but that's not real history. Voyage of the Damned, St. Louis. If Franklin Roosevelt had said, let them in, let them pass through, let them dock in Miami, we'll take them all in, these people would be alive today, and they weren't. They were sent back. They were turned around and they were sent back. That's how we felt about Jews during World War II, before Pearl Harbor. Then we hated the Japanese even more. There's a lot of ugly history in this country. Okay, Valerie Bertinelli is trending again because she's talking about Eddie Van Halen. She's got the new book out. So that's a thing. Let's see here. Jeff says, apparently the story of the MS St. Louis must have been in the same secret history book as the account of the Tulsa Race Massacre. Yeah, it was. It was. I never heard of the Tulsa Massacre until I watched an HBO show like 3 years ago about superheroes that actually mentioned it. Things we don't know. The Trail of Tears. We weren't taught about the Trail of Tears in school. we don't really stay up on reporting the terrible things. And it's not just us. It's not like Americans are the worst. Every nation in the world has these black marks. We just don't. We don't put them in the history books because we don't want the kids. We want the kids to be patriotic and think that we're the best and think that we do this and that. When there's it's probably a case to be made for giving kids the entire story and allowing them to grow and mature and understand the world around them is complicated and it's not all cut and dry. And we're not just. I don't want to get into it. That's not what we do here. But hey, here is something that is trending, and I've been saving this for last because I thought this would be a fun way to get around. A panel of critics, actually, critics have been impaneled, I suppose is the way that it's written here. They were asked to come up with, these are film critics from around the United States. And write for magazines, they write for newspapers, I don't know. I don't know if it's like, the Rotten Tomato guys or whatever. But they were asked to create a list of the 100 greatest films of the 21st century. So since the year 2000, they were asked to come up with a list of the 100 greatest films. I'm not going to do 100 films because quite honestly, I got to like number 47 and saw that the new Mad Max movie was only 47. And I went, I don't like this list. But then I'm scrolling through the whole list. I love that Mad Max movie, by the way, the one with Tom Hardy. So I'm scrolling through the list, and I had a movie in my mind, which is by far my favorite movie of the last 20 years. And so I scrolled through all 100. We get through the 30s, and it still hasn't mentioned this movie I got in my mind. I get to the 20s. Now I'm in the 10s. Now I'm at the top 10. And I still haven't seen this movie. And now I'm getting angry. Now I'm questioning the validity of the entire list. I'm wondering how the hell did this film, which I believe is by far the best film of the 21st century, possibly, it's in my top 5 favorite films of all time of any century. You got your Godfathers, you got your Goodfellas, you got your Dr. Strangelove, and there's this movie. In this movie, if I were to probably make a list, it might be, I love Dr. Strangelove so much, so I don't know that I could get rid of Dr. Strangelove as my favorite movie or best movie ever made. But I'm scrolling, I'm not seeing this movie, I'm getting angrier, and it's number 1. Yes! I was like, oh! I went through 99 movies, stewing. I'm like, how can you leave this movie off the list? How can you say this is not the best movie of the 21st century? So I'm scrolling, and there it was. It was number 1. I felt so validated. I felt like, well, now this is obviously the greatest list of all time. So here's the top 10. This is the top 10 movies of the 21st century as judged by this panel of film critics here in the United States. Number 10, it's an animated film. I've never heard of this. Spirited Away. I don't know. You guys know. Yeah, Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. That's 20th century, Jeff, although that should be in any list. One of Steve Martin's finest works. Spirited Away is number 10. It's like anime. And so I was like, when I got to the top 10 and it started off with anime, I'm like, oh, Jesus. Oh, God, what are we doing here? What is this about? I was thinking I had the worst possible. I had no faith. I had no faith for what the remaining 9 were going to be. Number 9, best film of the 21st century as judged by these panel of film critics, Gravity. Gravity. Isn't Gravity the George Clooney, Sandra Bullock movie, space movie? I love space movies. I don't know that I loved Gravity that much. I don't remember much about it. I don't. So it doesn't even, I'm like, yeah, it's all right. I thought The Martian was better. I know that. I know that I thought by the way, The Martian was in like the top 20. So that was cool. That was good. Number 8 is an absolutely terrible film called Roma. Roma, just terrible. I watched like 15 minutes of it and I'm like, nope, I'm out. I don't want to watch Roma. So 10 is Spirited Away. 9 is Gravity. 8 is Roma. 7 is Manchester by the Sea. I mean, I suppose Manchester by the Sea is fine, but I only watched half of it because it was just like, oh, this is not this. These people are no fun. This is not good. Yes, Adam, I hate Mexicans because I don't like Roma. That is not true. Mexican women are some of my favorite people on the planet. Mexican women are very similar to Irish women, just so you know. Fiery, sexy. Number 10 is Spirited Away. Number 9 is Gravity. Number 8 is Roma. Number 7 is Manchester by the Sea. Number 6 is Parasite. Finally, a movie where I'm like, yeah, that movie was really good. Parasite, that's the South Korean film. It won the Oscar for Best Film a couple of years ago, about the family of parasites who basically destroy the lives of these rich people. That's a good movie. Number 6 is 12 Years a Slave. Also an incredible movie. Heavy movie, but so good. Number 10, Spirited Away. Number 9, Gravity. Number 8, Roma. Number 7, Manchester by the Sea. Number 6, Parasite. Number 5, 12 Years a Slave. Number 4, never heard of number 4. Never heard of it. 4 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days. I don't know what to tell you. Never heard of this movie. Number 3, Pan's Labyrinth. Pan's Labyrinth seems like one of those movies that I would pretend like I've seen. I don't know. I don't know what Pan's Labyrinth is. I've heard of it. I guess, it's all right. I don't know. Haven't seen it, so I can't say. But it's number 3 on the list of best films of the 21st century. Number 2 was so good. Moonlight. Oh, Moonlight was so good. That, I don't know if it's number 2. Certainly deserves to be in the top 5. Moonlight's a good movie. Number 10, Spirited Away. Number 9, Gravity. Number 8, Roma. Number 7, Manchester by the Sea. Number 6, Parasite. In the top 5 best films of the 21st century as judged by film critics. Number 5, 12 Years a Slave. Number 4, 4 months, 3 weeks, 2 days. Number 3, Pan's Labyrinth. Number 2, Moonlight. And the best movie of the 21st century, an absolute masterpiece, took 12 years for Richard Linklater to make it. Boyhood. Oh, I've only seen Boyhood twice. I watched it the first time, and I was, oh God, I'm crying, I'm moved, I'm laughing. It's so incredible. And then like a couple of days later, I watched it again, and I was crying, I was laughing, I'm loving it. I haven't seen it since. I haven't seen it in like 10 years. When did it come out? Like 10 years ago? I don't know, maybe 6-7 years ago, something like that. I haven't seen it since. Because it's just too damn heavy. There's too much of an emotional kind of thing that happens. Boyhood, if you're unfamiliar with it, it is a project that Richard Linklater did over the course of 12 years. It is just such an incredible concept for a film. He had a standard group of actors who he signed to a contract that said for 2 weeks, every summer, for the next 12 years, you have to show up in Austin, Texas, and we will film 2 weeks worth of this movie. And the movie is about a kid's childhood. So we start out with the kid when he's like 8 years old. And then at the end of the movie, we have watched all of these actors age and legitimately age. He goes from being an 8-year-old adorable little kid with a shaved head who doesn't like the crew cut in school and he's getting picked on, to him going off with his girlfriend to college, just such an undertaking, such a cool. I believe Patricia Arquette won the Oscar for Best Actress. She plays the mom. Who else? Who's the dad? It's not Carrie Elways. It's the guy I always get confused. I don't know who it is. And nobody else is really of note, I don't think. But man, that's my favorite. That's by far my favorite movie of the 21st century. What an incredible, what a cool concept for a movie. A lot of people couldn't make it through it because, it takes 12 years to watch or 12 years to make. It's like a 3-hour movie. And it's it's very heavy. It's a very heavy movie about this particular kid's boyhood. Thus, it's called Boyhood. It's about him growing up. Ethan Hawke. That was it. Ethan Hawke. So good. Number one, I got to tell you, I felt so vindicated because, like I told you, I'm scrolling through 100. I'm like, well, I know what I think the best movie of the 21st century is. And I'm telling you, if this panel of critics doesn't get this right, then I am out. Started to panic when we got into the top 5. And I'm like, what do you mean it's not going to be there, is it? It's not going to be there. And it was there. So to the critics, I say, wunderbar, wunderbar. All right, that's it. That's pretty much it. Let's delve in now. Let's see what else is happening. Is there anything that started trending? Anything that we're 10 minutes away from all being killed? 10 minutes away from an asteroid hits somewhere on this planet and destroys all human life. 10 minutes. 10 minutes and counting. Say goodbye. Say goodbye to the people you love, folks. Okay, let's see if there's anything else other than, an extinction level event that we are now 9 minutes away from. Nothing. There's a trending. Steve Harvey's trending. Why is Steve Harvey trending? Steve Harvey is trending at number 5 on Google right now because Steve Harvey reacts to steamy pic of daughter Lori with Michael B. Jordan. I'm very uncomfortable, he says. Steve, let me see if it's worth sharing. Well, Steve Harvey's got a beautiful daughter. Good for him. Oh, and she seems to be in a relationship with Michael B. Jordan. So there you go. All right, I don't know if that's uncomfortable, but Steve Harvey's daughter is a very beautiful woman, and that seems to be enough to get him trending today. Asteroid still trending. Slipknot. Hey, Slipknot fans, they're going on tour. Slipknot Knotfest 2022. It's coming. Egg is trending with McDonald's. McDonald's workers show how they cook folded eggs. I don't need to see that. I love me an Egg McMuffin. I don't need to see the process. Okay, so Hilton Head Island is trending. A beautiful part of the country. Let's see what's happening here. Apparently there is a subject barricaded in a Hilton Head home, and he's got a shotgun. Let's see, what do we know anything about this? Let's see. Beaufort County deputies and SWAT members are at a home on Hilton Head Island where a person is said to be barricaded inside with a shotgun. This, according to the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office, deputies responded to the home. Okay, so it's really just normal everyday crime or whatever that is. All right, let's quickly see if there's anything new trending on Twitter. Boy, I'm telling you, the Ghana rugby team is very popular on Google. I need to figure. You know what I did? I went to the world. I need to just go to the United States. Paid in Bitcoin is trending number 1 currently on. This is why I don't like Twitter trends so much, because it's just stupid stuff. Hashtag paid in Bitcoin. USPS, the United States Postal Service, is accepting orders from households. Oh yeah, okay, this is a legit one. The USPS the United States Post Office is accepting orders from households for a set of 4 COVID-19 rapid antigen tests that they will start shipping out later this month. So you can go to, where's the website? If you are interested in getting your free rapid COVID test, here's where you need to go. Write this down, class. Why can't I find it now? Why are they not giving us the address? The Biden administration on Tuesday quietly launched its website for Americans to request free at-home COVID-19 tests a day before the site was scheduled to officially go online. The website, covidtest.gov. There you go, covidtest.gov. If you want to get yourself and your family some free COVID tests, why not, right? Sit on them, sell them in a couple of weeks. Laura Ingraham is trending, but I ain't going near that. I have no interest in delving into whatever nonsense. Also, Dan Crenshaw, I ain't getting into that. AOC, I ain't getting into that. We ain't doing that. Gorsuch. This is kind of weird. Gorsuch, Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch is trending because he's refusing to wear a mask despite a request from Chief Justice John Roberts. Okay, so the deal is that Justice Sotomayor she is diabetic and she's at risk of COVID. So John Roberts asked all the other members of the Supreme Court to, when Justice Sotomayor is around, just, wear a mask. It'll make her feel better and, whatever. And Gorsuch said no. So, that's what we're dealing with. You can't just... Who cares? Just come on, man. What's going on? Just it's not that hard. Put up with it because you're a nice guy, because she's worried and maybe her concerns are unfounded. It doesn't matter. You're just doing a solid. Jeez. AMC squeeze. Individual investors once again attempt to pile into and hold AMC Entertainment shares in hopes of creating a short squeeze in the market. I don't know what that is. Clarence Thomas. Why is he trending? I don't want to go near it. Jimmy Eat World. I like Jimmy Eat World. Jimmy Eat World is trending. Let's see why they're trending. What's going on with them? What do they got happening? Is this a new concert? Oh, okay. All right. Apparently there's a new concert. Is this a real thing? Let me see what this is. Okay, so we've got the Lollapalooza, the Coachella, the Bonnaroo. We've got all of these big festivals. Apparently, there's another one called When We Were Young. The When We Were Young Festival boasts, and here are the bands. Okay, you ready? The When We Were Young Festival boasts Avril Lavigne, My Chemical Romance, Paramore, Bright Eyes, Jimmy Eat World, The All-American Rejects, A Day to Remember, and many more. Here, I've got a poster here, so I'll run down the poster. AFI, The Used, Alkaline Trio, Manchester Orchestra, Dance Gavin Dance, Boys Like Girls, Knocked Loose. Okay, we'll stick with the big ones because they get smaller as the bands are less popular. Paramore, My Chemical Romance, Dashboard Confessional, Car Seat Headrest, Neck Deep, Alice Wolf. I don't. Jimmy Eat World. There you go. Bright Eyes, Avril Lavigne, A Day to Remember. Bring Me the Horizon. All right, there you go. So just another. So that would be When We Were Young. So that would probably be like, if you're between 35 and 40, maybe something you'd be interested in. I don't know. For me, I was already old when those bands were popular, so doesn't really. You want to do a When We Were Young? For me, you got to get. I guess I could go out and see the Foo Fighters. I guess and go out and see Pearl Jam. That kind of thing. Yeah. Okay, so that's why this is trending. And all right, that's gonna do it. That's really it. There's not a whole lot. Is that a Live Nation? Oh my God. And because that was just released, now look, all of these bands are glomming up the works with the Twitter trends. This is why Twitter trends suck. We got Jimmy Eat World trending. We like Boys Like Girls trending. We got Live Nation. We got Car Seat Headrest. We got The Used. We got Avril Lavigne. We got all of these people. Hey, Weird Al is still hanging on. Weird Al is still trending at number 10. People love Weird Al. All right, guys, that's going to do it. We're going to be done with the show for today. I've got a bunch of stuff that I got to do this afternoon, so I'm going to bog out on our normal hangout backstage kind of thing. I do apologize for that, but I've got places to go and people to see. I got business to attend to today, so I got to go off and I got to do that stuff. Thank you so much for coming by. Join us again tonight at 9:00. We'll be doing at least a 1-hour stream, which we call Pillow Talk. A little bit less formatted than this. This is just you and me and all of us talking about all the things that are happening in the world. I hope you're prepped up. I hope you feel it. Hey, I hope we survive the next 2 minutes. I don't see anything. Looks like we're all right so far. Looks like so far so good. I'm not seeing anything. I watched there's a new movie on, I think it's Netflix, the Don't Look Up movie. And in that movie, you could actually see the asteroid, the extinction level event heading towards Earth for like days before it actually hit us. So I'm feeling pretty good that maybe that's not what's in our future. Hold on. 1:59. Got 1 minute. Should we? If we're going to all be dead in the next 45 seconds, don't you want to go out cranking some John Hinckley? see that sun? The sun is burning brighter than she ever has. Look at this. Oh, man. Watch there just be a big fight. 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. We made it. By the way, we talked about this yesterday. John Hinckley is out there on Twitter and on Facebook. He's recruiting musicians who want to bring this music to a larger audience. He wants to go on tour. So if you're a musician and you want to jam with a guy who once tried to kill a United States president, now is your opportunity. Adam Raina has seen Jimmy Eat World 16 times. And I'm seeing them again in March. So that'll be 17. Cool. I begrudge no man the lame bands they like. I'm kidding. I actually like Jimmy Eat World's fine. No problem with Jimmy Eat World. I just saw an opportunity. Whoa, whoa. I hope that when John Hinckley goes into the studio and really produces up these songs, I hope that he uses some horns. I hope that he does something. He can go the mariachi direction, which I would prefer to go, but apparently my brain doesn't work that way. I can't do a mariachi. This is trying. Horn guy went rogue there. He was only supposed to play a couple of notes. He decided to solo a little. Tomorrow is another day. The best is yet to come. I have found a different way. So baffling to some. Whoa, whoa. I can smile a little now. Things are going good. All right, I'm off beat. All right, bye everybody. See you tonight. Hopefully. Adam Raina, I do not like Nickelback. What I don't like is the programming that so many thoughtless music consumers just spew ad nauseum, the belief, the ridiculous belief, the unfounded belief that Nickelback is the worst band of all time. Nickelback is fine. They're fine. They're not great. Maybe you think they're great. You are not a terrible person if you think Nickelback is great. I don't think they're great, but I also don't think they're the worst band of all time. That would be Jimmy Eat World.